Let me make sure I'm not calling him right now. Wait, what? Error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again. No, we're live.
It says live. We're live.
Yes, we are live. I'm sorry. We are live. I'm like, what? So welcome everybody. We are talking about what does it look like if you were to just transform your morning? How would that change your entire life? You know, if you are here with us live, woohoo, let us know live in the comments. If you are here with us and you are watching the replay and you're part of the replay crew, certainly, let us know. And, because I love the replay crew just as much as the live crew. So today I have a special guest. His name is Hal Elrod. And I met Hal at this mastermind in Tennessee a few months ago. And it's called Author for authors who have had really successful books. And Hal's book, low-key, high-key, way more successful than mine. He sold over 2 million copies. But I remember distinctly, like when I heard the title of his book, I was like, that sounds amazing. It's called The Miracle Morning. And I thought, well, what could that be about? And it's the not so obvious, secret, guaranteed way to transform your life before 8 a.m. And so Hal's going to come on and share his story with us. But also, what does that look like? Like, what is the miracle morning? How can it transform your life? And how can you get started sooner rather than later? So a few housekeeping rules, okay? Housekeeping number 1. Make sure you tag, share, right? Because sharing is caring. I always have let me see, where's my tag share sign? Did I delete it? I probably did, but I'm gonna create a new banner. Tag, right? Share. So wherever you are watching this, tag, share. Because it's important that it's not just for you, it's for all of us to experience and to lean into. So that's 1. 2, if you don't have a notebook, are you really a dream catcher? Let's be real, right? I stay with a notebook, right? I love a good notebook. I literally was cleaning out my office today and I counted 10 notebooks, which might be excessive, but get your notebook out, get your pen out, because there's going to be a lot of notes that you're going to want to take and you're going to forget, quite honestly, right? And then 3, make sure you have a quiet place. We're going to be on for about 45 minutes or so to an hour. So this is your time, tell the kid, be quiet, tell the partner, go feed the kids or whatever, whatever it is, tell the dog, take the dog outside. Like, I want you to take a moment to be present and be here with us. You're going to be able to ask questions at the end. And last but not least, so this book came out 11 years ago, The Miracle Morning, but there is a new, what is it, like an updated and expanded edition?
So this is the one that came out 11 years ago.
Okay.
And the one you're holding in your hand is available for pre-order now, and it comes out on December 12th, the 12-year anniversary of the original.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so if they're wanting to, if they're wanting to order that, where they're going to go to? They're going to go to miraclemorning.com.
Well, so the best place right now, because it's in pre-order, as an author, we're doing this pre-order campaign with, all these awesome bonuses. You go to thenewmiraclemorning.com. So thenewmiraclemorning.com, and that will take you to the page that gives you all the pre-order bonuses. You get a $200 masterclass from me. You get 2 guided meditation tracks that you can immediately start playing. You get the first 40 pages of the book so that you can immediately start reading it right now, and get started on their miracle morning before the book actually lands in your mailbox on December 12th.
So that is all the awesome stuff. So thenewmiraclemorning.com. I put the thing below. Okay. Awesome. So we jump right into it because I just want to make sure you guys didn't miss out. So let me introduce you. So let me take this off so you can see who I'm talking to. So this is Hal Elrod, the author of The Miracle Morning. And Hal, can you just share just a little bit about yourself? Like, how did you get here? Like, who are you? How'd you get here?
Yeah. So, all right, let's try to do it in a quick synopsis. I'm long-winded, so let me do my best to not keep us here for too long with this introduction. So when I was 8 years old, that was like my first real life and death kind of experience, not personally, but in my family. And I woke up to the sound of my mother screaming across the hall from her bedroom. And I was 8 years old, and it was just me, my mom, and my baby sister Amory that were at home. I ran across the hall, and Amory was dead in her arms.
Oh my
God. My 18-month-old sister died while my mother was breastfeeding her at 18 months. She had a heart failure. Wow. And so that morning I saw my sister die, And within about 6 months, my mother was leading a support group. Obviously, my mom was devastated. My dad was devastated. My family was devastated. But within 6 months, my mother was leading a support group for other parents who had lost children. So she turned her pain into purpose, right? And she found that she knew other people were suffering and she wanted to help them with what she was learning through the grieving process. And then my dad, within that same time period, he started an annual fundraiser to raise money for the hospital that tried to save my sister's life, because they did such a great, they obviously didn't succeed. She had already passed, but they tried and they did a great job. And so that was where the first seed was planted for me. That is like, when you're going through adversity, and if you're watching this right now and you're going through adversity, I feel like you're able to transcend the pain when you do find purpose. When you ask yourself, how can I use this adversity, this challenge, this pain to help other people? And maybe those other people, that's just your kids or your spouse. Maybe it's yourself. Maybe you're going, if I get through this, I can get through anything. And for me, that was really tested. You fast forward from age 8 to age 20, and you alluded to this earlier, Tiffany. I was driving home from giving a speech at a conference for the company I worked for at 20, and my car was hit head on by a drunk driver at 70 miles per hour. And I was found dead at the scene. It took the paramedics and the fire department an hour to cut the roof off and use the jaws of life to pull me out of the car. And when they did, I had lost so much blood that my heart stopped beating. I stopped breathing and I was clinically dead for 6 minutes. Thank God they revived me on a helicopter, flew me to the hospital. I spent 6 days in a coma. I flatlined twice more. And when I came out of the coma, I was told, I'm like, where am I? What's going on? I was told I had 11 broken bones. My leg had broken in half. My pelvis had broken in 3 places. My arm had broken in half. I had shattered my elbow. My eye socket was destroyed to the point of it being made of titanium. My ear was almost completely severed. I mean, it was about as bad as you can get. And I was told that I had permanent brain damage and that I would never walk again. And I always lightheartedly joke that my kids and wife will vouch for the brain damage. That is still very real to this day. But being told you're never going to walk again at any age is difficult. At 20, it's like, you got to wrap your head around it. Yeah. And I made a decision. And the decision is, I can't change that I was in a car accident. So there's no point in feeling sorry for myself. There's no point in being angry about it. The only logical choice I have is to accept my reality exactly as it is so that I can be at peace with it and I can move forward. And then I figured, if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, which was the worst case scenario for me at that point, I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I hope I can walk again. But if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, then I'm going to be the happiest, most grateful person that anyone's ever seen in a wheelchair. Okay. Because I'm in a wheelchair either way. And if you're watching this, I want to ask you, what's your wheelchair? Okay. What's that circumstance in your life, past, present, or that you're worried about in the future, that either caused you or causes you emotional pain? And realize you can choose to be at peace with it. And you might not be happy with that circumstance or that tragedy or that loss, but you can choose to be happy and grateful in the midst of the most difficult time in your life. And so that really set this mindset where I was at peace. And then I decided I'm going to walk again. If I don't, I'm at peace, but I'm putting all of my energy and my faith and my mindset into walking again. And the doctors thought I was in denial. 2 weeks later, I took my first step, and the rest is kind of history. And that's when I went on this path of like, I'm going to take my adversity, like my mom did with my sister died, and like my dad did, and I'm gonna turn my pain into purpose, and I'm gonna help as many people as I possibly can, and kind of dedicate the rest of my life to that, whatever it looks like. And at first, it was speaking at high schools and colleges, and then it went into other areas. Wow. Some people are sharing what is their thing. Like Lisa said, people pleasing to the point where my life doesn't look like mine. Oh, girl, you were preaching to the choir, And so feel free to share. I'll read some of the things that out loud, as we chat. So, wow, I remember, so we had kind of like a pre-chat, Hal, and I said one of the things I learned like the other week from my therapist, Dr. Green, she shared that, and this is what I love about the Miracle Morning, she shared something really powerful with me that kind of just said, okay,
I think I get it. She shared that, Tiffany, you can't help the things that happen to you. So, for example, how you was not your fault you got hit by a car.
No.
Couldn't have done anything about it. Like your sister passing away so tragically, there's nothing you could have done about it. And so you don't have to, like, you can't help what happens to you, but at some point you do have the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
for how you choose to live your life.
That's it.
How you choose to live your life. And so you decided early on, because you had such an amazing example from your mother. I can't even, like, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine that she decided that I cannot help that I lost my baby girl, but I do get to decide how my life is going to be lived. And so I'm assuming that's why you came out with Miracle Morning. Like, this is one of these, like, if I can start to control and take control of the way I start my day, it can help navigate my day. Would you say that that's true?
So, yes and no. The
Okay.
Miracle Morning was born, and I had mentioned this to you, I think, when we talked before, but it was born out of the 2008 Great Recession.
Mhm.
And at that time, I had launched a coaching business. I was coaching entrepreneurs, and my business was taking off, for the year and a half before the recession. And when the recession started, I always say there's a fine line between optimism and delusion, and I
Mhm.
cross that line often. And so people are going, "Are you worried about the economy?" I go, "I create my own economy. I'm not worried about it." And well, I lost over half of my coaching clients in a 6-month period, and I couldn't pay my bills. My mortgage I stopped paying the mortgage. My house was foreclosed on by the bank. I went from being a Dave Ramsey debt-free student to having
Mm.
$52,000 in personal credit card debt in 6 months. And I really hit my rock bottom. I was depressed. I was scared. I didn't know how to turn things around. My first house is being foreclosed on. I'm having to move back into my parents. And a Jim Rohn quote. You mentioned Jim Rohn. I wish I could thank him before he passed away, because
Yeah.
I was at my lowest point when I heard him say this: your level of success in every area of life, by the way. So your level of success in every area will seldom exceed your level of personal development.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Your level of success in every area of your life will seldom exceed your level of personal development. And when I heard that, Tiffany, I quantified it immediately. In my brain, I went, okay, so what level of success do I want? On a scale of 1 to 10, I want level 10 health, level 10 financial security. I want a level 10 marriage. I want life to be as good as it can be. But then the next question was, okay, well, if my level of success is not going to exceed my level of personal development, what's my
Mm.
level of personal development? And I went,
Mm.
it's like at a 2 or a 3. Like,
Mm.
I'm stressed out every day. I'm living in scarcity mode. I'm living in fear. I've got a horrible mindset. And I realized this is the disconnect for the majority of our society. Everybody wants to be as happy, healthy, wealthy, and successful as they can be. But very few people have a personal development ritual dialed in every day that enables them to become the level 10 version of themselves that they need to be to create the life that they want.
Yes.
And so I went, okay, I've got to go figure out what the world's most successful people do for their personal development. And I'm
Okay.
going to do that. And I was looking for one practice. After about 30 minutes of Googling, I had 6 practices. And I went, well, I can't do all of them. What am I going to do? Which one's the best? And I couldn't figure that out. And I finally, thank goodness, I almost threw in the towel. And then I had a light bulb. I had God go, why don't you do all 6 of them? Why don't you
Mm.
wake up a little 30 minutes earlier tomorrow and do the 6 most timeless, proven personal development practices that the world's most successful people have sworn by for centuries? I woke up the next morning. I wasn't depressed for the first time in 6 months. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. I woke up excited, like, this could be it. This could be the one thing that changes everything for me. And at the end of that hour, I went, if I start every day like this, it's only a matter of time before I become that level 10 version of myself. And Tiffany, I'll tie a bow on the story like this. I was thinking 1 year, right?
Mm.
I'll get 1% better every day. And 1 year from now, I can turn it around. I can get out of debt. In less than 2 months of practicing the Miracle Morning, from day 1 to 2 months later, I more than doubled my income.
Okay.
And that was in the recession that continued to decline, get worse. I went from being in the worst shape of my life physically to committing to run a 52-mile ultra marathon because I hated running. But I was obsessed after this Miracle Morning. I'm like, how do I become a level 10 in my health? How do I become a level 10 in my fitness? And I'm like, What if I ran a 52-mile ultra marathon and I hate running? I'd have to become a level 10 version of myself to be able to do that. And my depression didn't take 2 months to go away. It started going away on day one. Okay. Because when we live in fear and we feel like the future is hopeless, which is how I had felt for 6 months, because nothing I tried to turn my business around helped, we get depressed. And on day one of my first miracle morning, I went, again, this is the thing. If I do this every day, I can't not get better. And therefore my life can't not get better. And so that's the miracle morning origin story.
I honestly, I hope you guys are listening. One, please, if you're watching, whether it's live or replay, and you feel like moved by hearing how, that you will tell, tag, share, because, we are the conduit for people who are not here, but also need this message. I don't believe in coincidences. Like literally I sat next to Hal at the table. I didn't know him, like at the Author for Author conference. And so this is so pertinent for where I am now. And there's a reason why you are here. You didn't accidentally come here. You didn't actually, of all the places you could be, all the things you can be doing, you were brought here. And so I have to believe that is not an accident. And there might be other people who need to hear this message. So if you can tell, if you can tag, if you can share, this is just a free conversation with somebody who has overcome so much. I mean, I saw a woman post in her comments that she lost her son. You guys know that I tragically lost my husband suddenly about 2 years ago. And life sometimes can feel so overwhelming, and that like these things, like life happens to you and that there's nothing that you can do. And, even now, I'll never not be grieving, but I am seeking a way to release, and to transition into like what life could be versus what life was, And so this literally, when I say this is not even just for y'all, like when Hal was like, let's have a chat, I was like, no, we have to share it, because I know that this is right on time for me personally, and like where I am in my development, because I'm struggling. Like I want to, and I'm not even talking about professionally, like as Tiffany, I want to show up better. I want to lean into happiness and joy. I want to feel better health-wise. I want to feel not so tired and overworked and overwhelmed. I want that for myself. And so like when I got the book in the mail, I was like, yo, I don't believe in coincidences. And so I can't wait to dive even deeper into Miracle Morning, and I hope you do too. So Hal, so now that you've shared kind of like how you got here with creating Miracle Morning and why, and so for those of you, I'll put the link up for those of you who want to pre-order the book, or if you're watching this later, you want to order the book. It's thenewmiraclemorning.com. So can you share with us, like, I know that there are 6 components to the Miracle Morning. Can you share what those are?
Yeah. So when I did that the first night before my Miracle Morning, I Googled, best personal development practices. And again, I had all 6. And when I was writing the book, I got the original book. I was frustrated one day, and I remember I had like writer's block, and I went out to just get some water, and I met my wife in the hallway, and she goes, "You look flustered. I can tell something's wrong." I said, "I've got these 6 practices, but they're not original. I didn't invent them, and I don't have any cohesive way of organizing them." And she goes, "Why don't you get a thesaurus and see if you can find synonyms for some of the words and organize them into an acronym that is memorable?" And I gave her a kiss. I call her my muse. She gives me all my best ideas. And this became the Savers. So if you are taking notes, and if you're a Budget Nisa, fan, I know you take notes, grab your notebook. And you can write this vertically, right? Because you're going to write these out horizontally. SAVERS. These are the savers. And by the way, I call them the lifesavers. I love the acronym because these literally saved me on missing out on my full potential. I feel like that's what they do. The first S is for silence. That is your meditation or your prayer time. In the book, so I'll say this real quick. The original book, which is right here, right? You'll see how thin it is compared to the new one. I added 70 pages of new content. And when I wrote the original book, I was actually pretty new to all the practices, right? So I was like new to meditation. So I'm just like doing basic stuff. I've been meditating for 15 years. I've been doing all these, so the new book, there's 70 pages of new content. And I'll tell you, I teach you this thing I call emotional optimization meditation. I made it up. At least I think I did. I don't know if somebody else did, but emotional optimization meditation, it's where instead of just clearing your mind and quieting your, just calming yourself, that's part of it. But it's where you ask yourself, what is the optimal mental and emotional state that I need to be in today to be at my best for the people that I love and the people that I lead and myself, right? And that might vary. The emotional state on a day where you got to meet a client, you might need confidence, right? Or give a presentation. If it's Saturday morning and I got to play with my kids, right? I want to get in a state of playfulness so that when they come out, daddy's not stressed out over work or whatever, but I'm playful. If you ever been in a fight with your spouse before bed that didn't get resolved, I know we've all been there occasionally, right? In the morning, I will literally, if that ever happens, I will use this emotional optimization meditation to get in a state of love, forgiveness, and empathy so that when my wife comes out of the bedroom, instead of us, grimacing at each other, it's, hey, baby, I'm so sorry for last night. I love you so much, right? So emotional optimization meditation, and every day my go-to is I just want to feel blissful today. I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel happy. I got a lot of stressful things going on in my life, but I don't have to let my outer world dictate my inner world. Now, most of us, we let that happen. This meditation practice enables you to overcome that. The A in Savers is for affirmations. Now, I want to tell you, I am biased. When people say, do you have a favorite of the Savers? The politically correct answer would be, no, they're all equally important. But affirmations are my favorite, and I'll tell you why. The problem is affirmations have been taught to us, I believe, in ineffective ways over the years by well-meaning, self-help gurus. Number one, we're taught to lie to ourselves. If you're struggling financially, just affirm, I am wealthy. I am wealthy. But we're smart and we know the truth, and the truth will always prevail. So your subconscious goes, you're not wealthy. You're broke, right? So lying to yourself is never the optimal strategy. The second way that we're taught to do affirmations are to use this flowery passive language that produces or promises a magical result independent of any effort. You've all heard this one before. I am a money magnet. Money flows to me effortlessly and in abundance, right? The Budgetnista will tell you that's not how money works, right? You don't become wealthy because you sit back and you just pretend you're a magnet. So here's 3 steps that I walk you through in the new Miracle Morning book. Step 1, affirm what you're committed to. In life, you don't get what you want because you want it. You get what you're committed to. So step 1 is affirming what you're committed to. Step 2, affirm why it's a must for you. And I usually have like 3 or 4 bullet points. This is a must for me because, and it's why, how it's going to help me, how it's going to help my wife, how it's going to help my family, how it's going to help humanity, right? I've got the reasons that are so compelling that when I read them, they fuel my drive and my desire and my willingness to follow through with that commitment. And step 3, affirm which specific actions you will take and when you will take them. As my first coach ever said, that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Like if all you do is affirm, this is what I'm committed to and this is why, and then you go back about your business, whoa. Well, what are you going to do? Oh yeah, I got to do something to make that commitment a reality. Those 3 steps for the affirmation, those are Miracle Morning affirmations. That's the formula. They are rooted in truth. They are practical. They are actionable, and they are results oriented. You're programming your subconscious mind to be committed and reinforcing the commitment with the why. And then you're directing your conscious thoughts and behavior to do the thing that will get you across that finish line wherever you're trying to go in your life. The V in Savers is for visualization. The world's greatest athletes mentally visualize, they mentally rehearse themselves performing at their best before they ever step on the court or the field. We can and should do the same. So I teach you how to mentally rehearse yourself, not just create a vision board, but what do you have to do today in order to take the next step toward your vision? And that's what I teach you how to mentally rehearse in a compelling emotional state, so that when it's time for you to do the thing that you might be procrastinating on, you might be afraid of, it might be difficult or out of your comfort zone, you mentally rehearse doing it in a peak state so that when the alarm on your phone goes off, it's like, oh, it's time to do the thing now. You've already been there in your mind, your body, and your spirit, and it's easy to go there in real time.
Let's take a pause, Hal,
Yeah,
because
please.
if for those of you, we're going to go over the next three. So I know the teacher in me is like, if you're joining us, maybe you just jumped on, I'm talking to Hal Elrod. He wrote this amazing book called The Miracle Morning 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago. And he has a new, updated, expanded version. And Hal is going over the 6 components of the Miracle Morning. And so the acronym is SAVERS, for like your life savers. First is silence, because I see some of you asking, because that means you're writing stuff down. Good. And feel free in the comments, write them down so that people can read them. First is silence. So basically, this is like your prayer, your quiet time in the morning, like whatever that looks like for you, right? This meditative state, this meditative time for you in the morning. Second is affirmations, but not affirmations that lie to you, but affirmations that are based in truth that can motivate you throughout the day. And third, that Hal just went over, is visualization. I mean, if you have watched any 30 for 30 athletic program or whatever, visualization is key. I mean, honestly, and I'm going to tell you a visualization story that, like, after this, not I'm going to let Hal finish, but remind me of something that totally helped to transform something that my therapist had me visualize when I was really struggling with. So I'll tell that story after. So you guys got that, right? Savers, silence, S, A for affirmations, V for visualization. So Hal's going to do the next 3. You guys are ready? Okay. Yes. Okay. So go next one.
I will say I saw Barbara Brooks and Shelly and a few people asked for number 2 in the affirmations formula. So step 1, affirm what you're committed to. Step 2, affirm why it's a must for you. And I do that with bullet points, like your top 3 to 5 reasons why this is so important for you to do the thing, the commitment. And then step 3, which specific actions you will take and when you will take them. The E in Savers is for exercise. And this isn't rocket science, but you don't have to go to the gym in the morning. I mean, you mentioned the 6-minute miracle morning, which is literally 1 minute for each of the savers on the days you're busy. I don't recommend that's your daily practice. You can only go so deep in a minute, but 1 minute of silence will center you. 1 minute of reading your affirmations will focus you on what you're committed to. 1 minute of visualizing yourself doing the thing today that you need to do in a peak state will give you enough mental rehearsal so you can do it. 1 minute of jumping jacks, right? And exercise. That will get your heart rate up, get blood flowing to your brain so that you think clearer. You can focus longer. You have more physical energy. So as little as 1 minute of exercise first thing in the morning wakes you up and improves your entire day. Now, for me, I do exercise twice. I do 60 seconds of jumping jacks right at the start of my miracle morning. So I do the E at the front, right? And that just gets me so I don't fall asleep as I'm meditating, right? Now I've got the blood flowing. I'm able to meditate in a heightened state of focus. But then I do like a 10-minute workout at the end of my miracle morning with free weights that I have in our little workout, area of our house. The R in Savers is for reading. And we're all one book away, right? Little NLP. We're all one book away from from transforming our life, right? But it's true. It's like you want to be happier. Yeah, there's like 1,000 books on how to do that. You want to make more money. You want to be right. There's Tiffany's got a book for you on that. But you want to improve your marriage. Anything. Now I'm going to give you one little bonus tip. One thing that I do in terms of my reading is I have a self-imposed rule that I am not allowed to read a business book until I've read a book on marriage or parenting.
Okay.
And the reason is, if you ask most people with a family, what's your highest priority? They'll say my family. But if you look at their schedule and their behavior, you find that especially entrepreneurs, it often conflicts. And so, I before I got cancer, I was guilty of that. I was an unaware workaholic. Now, one of the first, I read a book on marriage or parenting first thing in the morning so that it does 2 things for me. Number 1, it reminds me of my highest priority. I'm not allowed to read that business book and think about my business or my finances until I've invested energy and time into evolving in the most important roles in my life. And the second thing it does is it enables me to learn something that I will actually become a better husband and a better father because I'm learning, growing, and evolving in those areas.
So what, just a real quick pause, because you talked about reading. And
Mhm.
so not everybody, somebody you might have just, we have a lot of new people. We started off at
Yeah.
like 100. Now we're like at 500. So if you're unaware, like Hal has this amazing book. This is what we're essentially, everything that we're teaching, that he's teaching today, is from The Miracle Morning. I saw someone, they were like, where can I order it? You can pre-order if you're watching the live, and if you're a replay crew, first, hey, replay crew, let me know in the comments if you're a replay crew. And you can go to thenewmiraclemorning.com. And so if you look below, the link is like, on the little, like below our screen, thenewmiraclemorning.com. I've got 2 copies, as you can see, boom, bop. And so if you're wanting to start your day, that your miracle morning, you can start your miracle morning with Hal's, updated and expanded edition. It's already sold over 2 million copies. I was so shocked how when I went to Amazon and I was like, you have like 35,000 reviews. I don't think I've ever seen that. Like, that's crazy.
James Clear has 117,000 reviews. So I just want to say
Yeah.
there are other books but yeah, it is crazy. I mean, yeah, people are really
Transformative. What that shows you is that this book that he wrote initially 11 years ago, and now the new expanded version, has helped literally the lives of millions of people. So you think about the 2 million people who got this book, and then their kids, their spouses, their partners, their dog, their mom, their dad. So it's not just the 2 million, it's how many people's lives have they radiated and made better as a result of their practice. That's why I love that there's a sun here on the cover of the book, Hal, because it's like you can radiate that goodness onto other people. So I didn't want to stop, but I just wanted to give people who might be like, well, what book should I start with? Like, well, hello, The Miracle Morning, and the link is below, thenewmiraclemorning.com. So we know Savor. So this is the teacher in me. You like to review.
Yeah.
So Savor. So this is the lifesavers. There's 6 things you could do to start your morning off in the miracle morning way. S for silence, A for affirmations, V for visualization, E for exercise, R for reading, and what's the last S?
But first of all, you're a phenomenal teacher, Tiffany. I could listen to you all day. I love your energy. The last S is for scribing, which is a fancy word for journaling, but the J would have made the acronym very awkward, right? The Saberja. So scribing, and I'll tell you, here's what I teach in the new book. 3 things that in my scribing practice used to be 2 things, and I added a third, and the third is now the first thing I do. I ask myself, is there anything that I need to accept or let go of? I want you to think about something. I learned this from a mentor when I was young. It's what helped me get through my car accident and all those experiences and find peace. He taught me that every painful emotion that we have ever experienced is self-created by our resistance to reality. Think about that. Something bad happens and you go, no, this isn't fair. I don't deserve this. God, please, no. You're resisting reality with every fiber of your being. When do you eventually find peace? It might take you a day. It might take you a year. It might take you a decade. It might never happen. You might never decide to get to a place of acceptance. The opposite of resisting reality is accepting reality. It's saying, look, this isn't what I wanted. In fact, this is maybe the worst thing, but I can't change it. So my only choice is I can resist it, wish it didn't happen, and create emotional pain for myself, or I can accept it fully. I might not be happy about it, but it's more powerful than that. I can be at peace with it. I can be at peace with it. And so for me, the first question I scribe is, what do I need to accept or let go of? What's weighing on my shoulders? What am I resisting? What am I frustrated? Maybe it's something that happened at work. I wish it didn't happen. Something that my spouse said to me. I'm so mad they said it. Wait a minute. I can either resist it or I can accept it. So in writing, I write down what I am accepting or letting go of. The second thing I write down is, what am I grateful for? And I don't just write it down and move on. That's what I call intellectual gratitude. When you keep it up here, I write it down. I put my hand on my heart. I close my eyes and I breathe into that gratitude and I feel it as deeply and profoundly as I possibly can. So it penetrates my spirit, my soul. That's how I get gratitude from the page into my heart. And the third thing I write down is I look at my to-do list. It's the end of the miracle morning, right? I'm wrapping up. I look at my to-do list and I go, okay, I got 12 things on the to-do list. What's the number one thing that will move the needle the most in my life or business, the most important thing? Because that's not human nature. Human nature is to keep yourself busy and go, well, what could I check off on the to-do list so I can trick myself into thinking I'm being productive? Ooh, I check my email. I organize my desk. I organize my bookshelf, right? No, I look at that list and I go, what's the most important thing that really matters that I'm going to do first today? I'm going to close this section out. The savers. Any one of these practices, actually, let me put it in the words of Robert Kiyosaki. I'm imagining you're a fan of Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Kiyosaki, last time I talked to him, he's read the book 3 times, and he does the Miracle Morning regularly. He talks about it in all of his speeches all over the world. He had me on Rich Dad Radio after he read the book 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Hal, at the end of the interview, he said, Hal, before you wrote the Miracle Morning and you came up with the SAVERS acronym, he said, every successful person on the planet attributes their success to at least one of the SAVERS. He said, but I've never met anyone, myself included, he said, that did all 6 of these ancient best practices. And the fact that you put it in one ritual, one routine, in my head, he goes, I can go S, go, done, A, done, V, done, right? I go through it, I'm done. And he said, when you do any one of these will change your life, but when you do all 6, he said, I think you named the book right because it creates miracles and it's done it for me and it's doing it for other people. So I really believe that that's true. And the savers, you can do them in any order. You could do them in an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 6 minutes. And really make it your own.
I love this. So I want to prime you guys, ask some questions. The last few minutes that we have Hal here, like let's ask him some questions. I just wanted to give you your flowers while you're here because I saw a few people. I want to shout them out. Someone was like, "Oh, where are you?" She was like, "Oh my gosh, I got the original book some years ago. I can't wait to get the new one. I'm just trying to see." Oh, Kimberly Foster said the Miracle Morning was one of the first books I read when I was introduced into the personal development space. Loved it. And she said, she definitely wants to get the new one. Lena said, I'm assuming Lena said I will definitely get the new one. So I'm assuming Lena, she said, wow, I have to get this one too. The original was great. So you already have some fans in here, which is awesome. Ari, this is her asking a question. She said, how many hours will this take in the morning? But you just heard, because you shared that you can, the shortest amount of time is to do each of the savers for 1 minute. It's not ideal to do that every day.
Yeah.
But you can get it down to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Tracy asked, is the book available in Audible?
Yes. And so if you go to thenewmiraclemorning.com to pre-order the book, it will give you 3 steps. Step 1, go buy it from your favorite retailer, right? So click your retailer. You can buy it on Audible. You could buy it Kindle. You could buy it Amazon. You could buy it, Walmart, Target, whatever. Then you just come back and you copy and paste your order number into the form, and you will get 3 awesome bonuses right away. You'll get the first 40 pages of the new book. And I forgot to tell you, I added 2 brand new chapters to this book. The Miracle Evening, which is your strategy for blissful bedtime and better sleep. And the Miracle Life, which is your path to inner freedom. Those are 44 pages of brand new content. And you'll get, so when you pre-order the book, you get the 40-page sneak peek. You get a 60-minute master class, which I literally recorded just as a bonus for this book. And I talked about sequencing your savers, something I've never talked about before. How do you sequence your savers so that they each weave into each other and support each other? And then you also get 2 guided meditation tracks, 10 minutes each. One is the Miracle Evening Meditation, and one is the Miracle Life Meditation. That, again, these are just as bonuses for the book. So the newmiraclemorning.com, and yeah, you can order on Audible or any format, and then go back to that site and put in your order number and get all the bonuses.
That's awesome. So if you order the book, let us know, because I love shouting y'all out. Southern Girl said, ordered this week, looking forward to it. Regina said, this will be my first book. And so, okay, a really good question from Lisa M. Jean-Pierre. Lisa says, how do you motivate yourself to not give up, and not to give into depression, to your dis-ease, etc., like when you're trying to do your ritual? So how do you motivate yourself to keep going?
So I'm going to share a story to answer that. when I was diagnosed with cancer, so I was 37 years old. It was 6 years ago. My son was 4 years old. My daughter was 7.
Mm.
So and I was given a 20 to 30% chance of surviving, which, you look at
Wow.
the other side of the coin, that's a 70 to 80% chance that I was going to die. And the reason I found out I had cancer is because my lung was collapsed, my heart was failing, and my kidneys were failing. So I was
Mm.
already on death's doorway. And you can imagine how terrifying, right? I mean, being told that. And so my miracle morning saved my life once again. And what I did is my affirmations specifically, I'm going to run y'all through how I use my affirmations, and this answers your question.
Mhm.
So I lived in the beginning, I was very afraid. What if I die? What if I do everything right? What if I have the best mindset and I still die? This cancer kills most people. So I have a lot of
Mm.
fear. So I created affirmations following the 3-step formula that I taught in this discussion. Step 1, what are you committed to? I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula and the kids. No matter what, there is no other option.
Mm.
I read that every day, multiple times a day, with such conviction and
Mm.
emotion and energy that after a week or two, the fear was completely gone.
Mm.
It was because I reprogrammed my nervous system
Okay.
with that unwavering faith that I am committed to beating cancer. There's no other option. Step 2, why is it a must for you? I'm committed to beating cancer for Ursula because I promised her forever and today.
Mm.
I'm committed to beating cancer for Sophia and Halston because they need their daddy's love, leadership, and guidance, and I want to watch them grow up.
Oh, don't. I know. I'm a crybaby too, Hal. So
I'm
thank
committed to
you.
beating cancer for my mom and dad because they already lost a child and they don't deserve to lose another one. So, and I went down the line, right? I'm committed to beating cancer for myself because I deserve to live a long, happy, healthy life. And last but not least, I'm committed to beating cancer for the millions of people who are themselves battling cancer or some other disease and may not have been blessed with the knowledge or resources that I have, and I can help them on their healing journey. Think about how powerful that is. When I read that every day, was I willing to do? It didn't matter if I was motivated, didn't matter if I was sick, didn't matter if I was exhausted. I was willing to go one more day, take one more step to follow through. And then step 3, of course, is I affirmed I will do the best that Western medicine has to offer and do the chemo, even though I had a lot of reservations. But I will not leave it up to the doctors to save my life. I will take 100% responsibility by relentlessly researching every natural, holistic practice that other people have used to beat cancer, and I will implement all of them. That shows you in action how affirmations can take you from being on death's doorway to being here now, talking to the budgetnista, talking to Tiffany Alish. So if it worked for me, it'll work for you.
No, I just thank you for being so vulnerable because it's a lot, like human beings, there's so much that we go through. And I don't think that sometimes we give ourselves the grace and the space to, we all want to show up perfectly for social media. We all want to, pretend like life is everything is always going our way. And so it's always really nice when um people like you come and show, like, your vulnerability and your humanity. I can't imagine how scared you must have been. And yet you said, no, that, I am committed to doing what it takes, because not just for me, but for those around me. And as a result, we get to experience you too. Like, what a blessing that is. Now you got me crying. You know, like, as a result, we get you too. And so, yeah, now I know, because they're all crybabies too. So I know half y'all crying too. And so, so this is why I wanted to bring Hal to you today, because I know there are those of you who are watching who feel like it's so easy to give up, because sometimes life, I'm not going to lie, it's so hard. It's just easy to be like, I'm not going to give up. This is just how it is. I used to just think sometimes like, this is just how it is. And, it doesn't actually have to be that way. If
Mm.
you can hear the sound of my voice, if you've been able to hear how today, it doesn't actually have to be that way. I'm not promising that everything is gonna be perfect. That's just not how life goes, but it can be better. I think I read someplace how that you were like better than the day before. That's all we
Yeah.
strive
Yeah.
for.
Every morning, the miracle morning enables you to be better than the person you were when you went to bed the night before. Yeah.
Yes. And so like and the teacher in me, it's not just enough to get the motivation. The teacher in me is like, I need step-by-step guidance.
Hmm.
I try my best to find the best out there, um, that also teach because I'm like, no, no, tell me what to do. What is my homework? And so that's what I love about the miracle morning, is that there is direction, not just hope, not just, I want to feel good, but what do I actually do? And so like I just love books like that. They give me like step-by-step guidance. So we thank you for that. Oh, some people are just sharing like, I'm so sorry, Roberta. She shared that she lost both her oldest daughters and her husband, and so there there's always going to be a reason to say, because Roberta, no one's going to tell you like, like you shouldn't feel sad about that. No one, you have all the reason to not move forward, all the
Hmm.
reason to say,
Hmm.
I'm just going to sit here. When my husband passed away, honestly, I just said, because I do believe in the afterlife, I believe that one day you see your loved ones again, and I told myself I'm actually just going to sit and wait it out. I'm not moving forward. I won't get out of bed. I will barely keep myself alive, and then one day I'll get to see him again. And that was my intention, to just like wait it out. And then my therapist shared with me that, you know, one day she said, because I kept saying, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened. This is the worst thing that could have ever happened. And one day she said, is it the worst thing that could have ever happened? And I wanted to jump through the screen and choke her, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, how can you? I lost my husband,
Yeah.
my best friend. It is the worst thing. And I just remember thinking, she kept saying, "Is it?" And then I thought about my mom is here, my
Mm.
dad is here, my
Mm.
sisters, my niece Lily, my niece Amelia, my nephew Roman. I thought about all of these beautiful people that I still have in my life. I thought about y'all dream catchers. I thought about my team, the Unicorn Squad, and I thought they are still here. I thought about my health that I still have. And I said, "Is it the worst thing?" And then I went to volunteer at the safe house in Kenya and met these beautiful young girls who had been abused by some of them by their own family members. It was a safe house for pregnant teen girls, and some of them abused by their own fathers. And I remember thinking, it was the first time that I thought, is it the worst thing that could have ever happened, Tiffany?
Mm.
Is it? And it's not. It is a terrible thing. It is a traumatic thing, but I get to still be here. And sometimes we need the tools to figure out, I'm decided to be here, now what? And to me, that's what things like this is for. I'm always looking for what can I do to make my life better? Like I cannot fix what the world does, but I can fix and figure out what I can do to make my life better and in turn to help make other people's lives better. So how I just want to say, like, oh, Barbara says she's part of your community and it helped her so much. So that's awesome.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yes. And so who else? Like such an on-time word. I've been wanting to give up on my dreams for real, hopeful reality, which is funny because your name is Hopeful Reality. Tired of not getting it right. It's not about getting it right, Hal? It's just about one foot in front
Progress
of the
over
other.
perfection, right? Progress over perfection. Yeah.
Yes. And just like I'm just like, yeah. Yeah, you don't get over it, but you don't have to act like you have to get over whatever traumatic thing that's happened, but certainly you can say that I'm going to hold space for it while also using the tools and resources available to me to move forward as best I can.
Yeah.
And you're not here to go it alone. That's why like I said, I love like tools like the Miracle Morning, because it's like, okay, now what? What am I supposed to do? Oh, savers. Okay. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to paint my house. I want to hire a painter, or at the very least, get someone to guide me through like what to do. And so you have this guidance. I'm just looking to see if there's any, like I know definitely quite like a baby. I know that was not my intention. Um,
I saw somebody asked, they wanted to know what I did, the holistic practices to beat cancer. And I can answer this
yes,
in a quick fact. I
yeah,
did everything. I'm going to give you a resource though. One of the best websites that I found for the best holistic practices is chrisbeatcancer.com. It's CHRIS, chrisbeatcancer.com. And he's a relatively young man that he beat cancer, I think 6 years ago, that he was like stage 3 or stage 4. The doctor said, if you don't do chemo, you're going to die. And he prayed about it. He said, I just felt I was supposed to do this naturally. He beat it naturally. And he's since dedicated his life to interviewing the best holistic doctors and oncologists and survivors to find out what's the best of the best. So that was really a hub. And then I read books like Radical Remission, and there's a lot of books on holistic ways of beating cancer. Also, The Truth About Cancer was good, but I really like Chris' work. chrisbeatcancer.com was my favorite resource for those holistic practices.
Yes. No, thank you. That was really, really, really helpful. So for those of you who are like, I had planned to stay here, and I am wanting a better life. And I know that a better life does not start externally. Instead, it starts internally. But I'm not sure what to do next. You don't have to go it alone. That you have a guide, and you have a guidebook called The Miracle Morning. And the link is below, but it's the new miraclemorning.com because it's a new updated version. Get one for yourself, for someone you love. I just recently started to co-read books with people where I'll read a book and we'll do like 2 chapters a week. And then on Sunday, we talk through them. So that's something. I don't believe that you should go life alone at all. So would be a great book to maybe do that. And then even check in. What if you and your work mom or your bestie or your brother or sister or whatever, you're like, you know what? I need someone to keep me on the journey. And I know you actually have groups, right, Hal? Like the Miracle Morning has, like, we have Dreamcatcher groups, but you have Miracle
we
Morning
have the
group.
Miracle Morning community is a Facebook group with 350,000 people from over 100 countries. And so that's like the main hub where people go and ask questions and support each other. So the Miracle Morning community on Facebook.
Yeah, so you don't have to go this alone. And so, how can I just say thank you so much for me, like me personally, because I'm excited to dig into this because I need something. But then also, I am always, we should give people their flowers while they're here. So, we'll take maybe one more question, but I would love if you could flood the comments with as much love as possible that Hal could soak it up while he's here, because we're grateful for his presence. We're grateful for him leaning into the assignment that's been set aside for him. I don't, it's by divine grace, I believe, that Hal is here. You cancer could have taken you. That car accident could have taken you. So many ways that you could not be here. And you're here, not only here, but showing up for your family, but showing up for us too. And so we're just really grateful for that. And if you have any additional questions, please ask. So for those of you who are wanting the pre-order bonuses, how can you just share again, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, and I'm actually going to mention something because I see Kimberly Foster said the first version I bought 5 copies and would give them out to my friends. So why not do the same with the new Miracle Morning? Kimberly, thank you. So when you go to the new miraclemorning.com, if you pre-order 1 book, you get these 3 bonuses. You get the first 40 pages of the new book, so full on preview, so you can get started, right? Because you'll actually get it in the mail in about a month, in December. You get a 60-minute masterclass where I talk about sequencing the savers. So how do you tie them all together so they support each other? And you'll get 2 guided meditation tracks. Now, here's the cool part. And Kimberly, you made me think to say this. If you order 5 books, so, I always say, like, it's the only book you can give out that makes every day feel like Christmas morning, right? Like where you wake up feeling excited every day. But if you buy 5 books, we're doing a live virtual event December 14th called the Miracle Year. It's how to have your best year ever in 2024. If you buy 5, pre-order 5 books right now, you get 5 tickets to the event and you get 5 of the bonus packages. So you not only are giving the book to 4 other people and getting to go to the Miracle Year live event yourself, and it's recorded in case you can't make it live, but you're going to get 4 books to give out as gifts, 4 bonus packages, and 4 tickets to the live event to set your friends and family up to have their best year ever next year and do the Miracle Morning.
Thank you so much, Hal. That's amazing and awesome. So everybody take a deep breath. This has been, thankfully, because y'all know I go live on IG and I'm so petty. I'm like, it's not recorded. But here, this is recorded. And so at any moment, you can revisit this video. At any moment, obviously, if you get the book, you'll have it in hand. Um, and so, if you're wanting, as soon as we jump off, you could share this very link with whoever needs to hear this, or you could rewatch again. Maybe you need to listen to it in the car like a podcast. We welcome you to do so. And so we thank you for being here, for sharing your time with us. Is there anything, Hal, that I didn't ask you that you want to close out with?
No, I love you, Tiffany, and thank you
Oh,
so much for
well,
having me. I really appreciate it.
no, I love you too, and love y'all too.
I
Oh,
love
someone
all of
said
you.
your story before you forget. Y'all know my so here the visualization story. So after my husband passed away, I was just really having a really hard time with, because when you have a good partner, they make you feel like Beyonce no matter what you look like. And I had a really hard time with because it was 2 years, it's been about 2 years, and I said, I think I want to explore what companionship might look like. But I wasn't sure what I looked like, because I not really thought about like how I felt about myself physically as a woman. If I'm being all the way candid, I'm like, am I still cute? I don't know. And my therapist had me visualize what it would be like if someone came to the door to take me on a date. And like, what if, he was like, she's not as cute as her pictures, like, which sounds crazy, but literally. So, like, I would visualize this guy come up to the door and coming in being like, and what my reaction would be. And we kept doing that visualization until I could, in the visualization, say like, well, first of all, you must be blind because I'm really cute, and if it's an issue, go take somebody else out. So I had to learn to bring the sassiness in my visualization, and it helped so much with the feeling of insecurity that, like, navigating this space where someone
Mm.
thought I was a sun, moon, and stars, of like, if I am going to start to look for companionship again, that like I can do so confidently. And so that visualization, I didn't think, it was just so powerful, because I'm like, I can see that if somebody does come to my door and I do decide to date, and that like I can do so from a place of, it doesn't matter what that person thinks of me, because I know what I think about myself. And I visualize what it looks like, the worst of situation and circumstance, and what the best can look like. And so, yeah, that was the kind of like the funny little story that, I had to visualize like what that looked like. So thank you guys. They know my memory is the worst. So thank you for
Uh,
reminding me to tell that story.
that's a powerful story, though, and you are. I think you're beautiful, Tiffany. You're really
Oh, thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hal.
Mm.
All right, y'all. Like, share this stream. Go ahead and onto the newmiraclemorning.com and get your book, and let me know like what you think of it when you get it. All right, bye.